I wanted to thank you both for this year. So, I would like to take us to Paris for the weekend. On Oliver, spend his money recklessly. It's what he would be doing if he were there right now. And I can't think of a more appropriate way to mark the 1-year anniversary.
Yeah.
We all deserve some joy.
Yes. I think this is a beautiful thing. I think this is a beautiful, soulful thing you are offering us. Yes. Thank you. Where are we staying?
Daniel, Ruth, Himesh, it is so lovely to meet you all, even though you all made me cry yesterday. I'm still delighted to meet you. I want to congratulate you on making a beautiful, moving film.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So, all right, my first question is for you, Daniel. Queer love often is depicted either as having to be like a perfect paragon of virtue or super, super messy. And what I loved about this film was that it showed that it is both and it can still be very beautiful. Is that a theme that you felt was really important to depict on film?
I think it was just truth, you know? I think I'm just constantly sort of questing after the truth of relationships. And so often I think people, for a variety of reasons, don't want to tell the messiness of it. They would rather err on the side of idealism, which I have done in my own work. I think, you know, with Schitt's Creek, it was very much, we were pushing forward this idea that, like, love, look what love can do. And I think in this particular story, it was about the reality of a relationship and how tricky it can be, and the truth and the hidden truths and the secrets and the lies, and not being scared of showing in this case a gay relationship that was imperfect, but that was rooted in something very deeply loving, even though it got complicated and it got messy, even though there was, you know, deceit, and even though there was a withholding of truth on both sides. It was rooted in love, and that's a journey that that unfolds over the course of the film. So for me, you know, it was just about telling the truth of a relationship and trying to honor that. It didn't really matter who these people were. It was just about what their relationship was and making sure that that was articulated as, like, as realistically as possible. And, you know, and again, discussing the concept of open relationships without ever placing judgment on it. You know, I never wanted it to feel like it was a bad thing. It was just about how the character entered that relationship that was on rocky ground. There were so many things, especially when you're dealing with open relationships and relationship in proximity to queer conversations. You know, there's so much judgment around it already. It was important for me to just show it as it is and not you know, place judgment one way or another, but rather just show the flaws of the relationship, but also the joy and also the love, and celebrate all of it.
Yeah. I think one of the major through lines that I noticed is just like this sense of grace, like this sense of grace around imperfection, whether it be with the relationship or the way that a character that might be treated like a villain in another film is given a lot of grace. And I think that's also true for Ruth, your character. I mean, I love Sophie. She is a little bit messy, but in ways that are a little uncomfortably relatable for me. But I'm curious, you know, you don't rarely get to see women get to be messy and also be shown grace the way she is in this film. Was that important for you to see someone treated that way, that type of character on screen?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, yeah, you don't really, do you? And I love that word, grace, because I think that's very present. That's the perfect word for this film. And also it's the word that I think is perfect to describe friendship, you know. We give each other grace, isn't it? And that's what friendship is those grace moments that you, like, thank the Lord for. Yeah, I mean, I suppose, you know, it depends on what you watch. I mean, I remember I was a big fan of Sharon Horgan's Pulling. Do you remember that? And, you know, Sophie's not dissimilar to a couple of moments in that. And I think absolutely we can all relate. I mean, who can't relate to Sophie?
Yeah, I absolutely
but you know what I mean? And the thing about that is that, like, I know what you mean about the discomfort, because I find it quite uncomfortable watching it. Like watching her make these kind of mistakes and this, because I know, because I've fallen in love with her so much, I know if she just stands still for a minute, she'll find herself. Do you know what I mean? And that's the kind of thing that you also know, that her friends know that. And that's what I think is so important, that word grace. I'm so glad you used it, because that's what they afford her. And she knows it, and that's what heals her, and that's what gives her the strength to be able to see it, you know, give herself that grace.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I love her
Yeah.
too.
Me too. I love her. I love all of your
I
characters.
do
And Himesh, I know we're out at time, but I just want to compliment you as we close out and say what an incredible performance you gave. Like, I connected so much with the character that like loved someone and didn't necessarily have that same connection back. So thank you so much for sharing that performance.
Thanks.